Dead by daylight.
Hello everybody, Sir Alan here, and I wanted to bring you the ultimate Nemesis guide. So everything you need to know for when the chapter goes to live, and if anything does change, I will make sure to update this. But to get into the Nemesis power and his attributes, he has the T-Virus, which is his special power, and we'll get more into that. But talking about the attributes, he's actually a pretty standard killer, with a 4.6 meters per second movement speed and a 32 meter tear radius. So as I said, we're going to be covering absolutely everything. So to start off with, we have the Raw Fist, which is Nemesis' basic attack, and essentially you'll be able to chase down a survivor just like this, and then use your basic attack to deal 1 health state of damage. So moving on to the Nemesis special attack, which is Tentacle Strike. You want to start off by using this and getting the survivor contaminated. So on first hit, as you'll see, no damage done, but the blue coming over the portrait of the Near. And then after contaminated, you'll actually be able to injure the survivor, taking them all the way to fully downed. The Nemesis power is actually a ranged attack, so you'll be able to use them over short wall loops. So getting on to the numbers, it takes 0.35 seconds to charge it up, and you'll be walking at 3.8 meters per second for the entirety of the time you hold it, and 1.5 seconds for the cooldown. If you do land a successful attack, you'll have a 2.5 seconds attack cooldown, and for that duration you'll be moving at 4.2 meters per second. So talking about the contamination effect on survivors, survivors can get contaminated by the way we saw through the Nemesis, or through one of the roaming stray zombies. Now you'll have a blue light residue on your character to indicate that you are contaminated. And if you want to cure this, you have to go to one of the 4 supply cases, and it'll take around 4 seconds to open that supply case, and 3 seconds to inject the vaccine itself. But if you don't collect the vaccine within 15 seconds, the supply case will close. But do be careful, because once you use the vaccine, the Nemesis will see you with killer instinct to pinpoint your location. So moving on to the mutation rate, this is something you want to actively tier up throughout the match as Nemesis, and this can either be done by using your special ability on a zombie to gain 1 contamination point, or it can be used to hit a survivor to contaminate them, gaining 3 contamination points. Talking about the benefits to the mutation rates, at tier 1 and 2, you have 5 meters attack range, but you can't break a pallet at mutation 1. But once you get to mutation 2, you'll be able to break pallets, also breakable walls. And then once you fully tier up, you'll be at mutation rate 3, and you'll get an extra 1 meter of attack range. So talking about the zombies. Zombies will spawn within 12 seconds of the match starting, and will spawn under a randomly chosen hook. Once spawned, the zombie will be actively looking for survivors and walking at 1 ms speed, and they can detect survivors within a 95-degree cone. They have a sight of 14 meters, but will lose sight of the survivor after 20. So although really slow, the zombies can actually still pose a problem. So when you're looping the Nemesis 1-to-1, there might be a stray zombie that will come up and pin the one side of the loop, kind of holding you in. I think in this situation, the best thing to do is take the hit and run away. So otherwise, you'll get pinned in like this, and you'll get down very fast. So this is something you actually want to implement into your own playstyle as Nemesis. You want to actively look for one of the zombies and push a survivor into those. And even if a survivor sees the zombie last second, they're probably going to make bad pathing errors, not know where to go, and you're going to get the hit either way. So this takes me on to the next bit about the zombies. If destroyed by the Nemesis, the zombies will take 12 seconds to respawn. As a survivor, you can destroy the zombies with either a pallet or a head-on stun, and it'll take the zombie a complete 30 seconds to respawn. You can also use lockers to completely lose line of sight of the zombie, even if you do it right in front of them. And zombies will react to perks such as like diversion or red herring. You can also use any items that would blind the killer, like flashlights, firecrackers, or flashbangs, to immobilize the zombie for around 15 seconds. But you do have to be careful, as the Nemesis can see this in the white aura of the zombie leaning back. So as you can see from the Nemesis point of view, that zombie's leaning back and was flashlight blinded right next to a gen. So it's probably a survivor wanting to immobilize it to continue working on the generator. And zombies actually react to a lot of noises that can be produced by the survivor, such as rushed actions, failed skill checks, generator repairs, and chest unlocks. So taking notice of the zombie's aura is going to be super important to be able to locate a survivor and get you into a chase. And just because I haven't showed you yet, I'm going to show you a zombie actually respawning under one of the hooks. And you want to listen out for that sound that you can hear globally for when a zombie does spawn back into the map. Getting into the Nemesis perks, we have the first one, which is Lethal Pursuer. And essentially, at the start of the trial, the auras of all of the survivors will be revealed to you for a total of 7 seconds. So moving on to the second perk, we have Hysteria. And whenever you put a healthy survivor in the injured state with a basic attack, all injured survivors suffer from the Oblivious status effect for 30 seconds. This can only be triggered once every 60 seconds. But essentially, the Oblivious status effect will mask the killer's terror radius, making it difficult to pinpoint the killer's location. So moving on to the last perk, Eruption. After kicking a generator, its aura is highlighted in yellow. And you're able to kick as many gens as you want, as little gens as you want, but it will only activate as soon as you basic attack down a survivor, regressing any affected gens by 6%. And if there was a survivor working on one of the generators when it exploded, they're actually going to suffer from the incapacitated status effect, meaning that for 14 seconds, they're not going to be able to touch that gen. So moving on to the Nemesis add-ons, we have the Iridescent Umbrella Badge. And basically, you will be able to one-shot down a survivor after they've used a vaccine. This stays applied for 12 seconds. We've tested it with multiple things like zombies. We've tested it with the Tentacle Strike, but it only does work with the basic attack. So moving on to the second Iridescent that the Nemesis has, which is the Shattered Stars Badge. And whenever a generator is completed, the zombie's walking speed will tremendously increase for 30 seconds. I do think this is bugged, because I checked it with the other walking speed add-ons, and it feels like they're going the same as the Moderately, which is 0.5 meters per second. I think this will get changed, and I will change this when the patch goes live. So moving on to the very rare add-ons that the Nemesis has, is the Broken Recovery Coin. So in a match, there's only going to be 3 chests available to the survivors, leaving one survivor not being able to actually cure themselves from the contamination. So moving on to the next one, we have the Depleted Ink Ribbon, which considerably decreases the zombies' respawn time from 12 seconds to 7 seconds, and it moderately increases the walking speed of the zombies, which is by 0.5 meters per second. Now, once all the generators are done, you will have to kill these zombies by hand for them to spawn back into the exit gates. And the next very rare add-on is Jill's Sandwich. Now, I wasn't actually able to catch footage of this. Unfortunately, the PTD was a little shorter than I expected it to be. But when you pop open a supply case as a survivor, the Nemesis is going to be able to see you in a red aura for a complete 12 seconds. So getting on to the last very rare add-on is the Knee A Parasite. And basically, when the survivor gets contaminated, either through the Nemesis himself or a zombie, for 60 seconds they're going to suffer from the Oblivious status effect, and that will mask the terror radius of the killer for that particular survivor. Moving on to the rare add-on, we have the Licker Tongue, which moderately increases the amount of time survivors are hindered after being contaminated. Now, the hindered effect minuses 20% movement speed from the survivors, taking it from 4 meters per second down to 3.2 meters per second. The only thing this add-on changes is the amount of time that that's applied for, which goes from 0.25 seconds to 0.40 seconds. The next rare add-on we have is a Plant 43 Vines, and this considerably increases time for survivors to open the supply cases. This will take it from 4 seconds all the way up to 7, increasing it by 3 seconds in total. So for the Serotonin Injector, you'll actually gain the Undetectable status effect for 15 seconds when a zombie is destroyed. This will disable your terror radius, the red stain, and block survivors from reading the killer's aura. Unfortunately, I overlooked and didn't catch any footage of this, but it's a fun little add-on where you can chain it even into 30 seconds and get some grabs off some generators. For the next add-ons, I wanted to group these together. We have the T-Virus Sample and the Zombie Heart, and what these two add-ons do is increase the mutation rate when destroying zombies with a Tentacle Strike. Now, here is the example of how long it takes to gain from mutation rate 1 to mutation rate 3, from add-onless to Zombie Heart to T-Virus. The T-Virus finishes first, taking a total of 30 seconds, or 8 hits, for mutation rate 1 to mutation rate 3. Followed in secondly, and shortly after, is the Zombie Heart, which is in the middle of the screen, which takes 9 hits, or 33 seconds in total. Then we have the add-onless, which takes a complete 15 hits, or 54 seconds of pure hitting animation to get from mutation rate 1 to mutation rate 3. So there is another add-on that increases mutation rate, but it works at the exact same rate as Zombie Heart. This is Tyrant Gore, and Tyrant Gore moderately decreases the zombie respawn time, which minuses it from 12 to 7 seconds. So the next lot of add-ons we have is the adrenaline injector and the damage syringe. Both of these increasing the killer instinct duration. The brown add-on will take it from 3 seconds to 4.5 seconds, and the yellow add-on will take it from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. The brown add-on does have an extra benefit where it will take an extra 2 seconds for the survivor to use the vaccine. Moving on to the next uncommon add-on is Marvin's Blood. Now this allows you to gain mutation rate quicker when hitting survivors with your tentacle strike. So instead of taking a complete 5 hits to get from mutation rate 1 to 3, you're only going to have to hit 4 survivors to get the same effect. So the next add-ons we're going to be looking at are actually walking speed add-ons for the zombies. We have Mikhail's Eye, and then we have Brian's Intestine. Brian's Intestine is going to make the zombies walk 0.25 meters per second faster, while Mikhail's Eye is going to make the zombies walk 0.5 meters per second faster. Moving on to the next add-on, we have the Starsfield Combat Manual, and this will essentially show you the aura of the zombie for 6 seconds that hit a survivor. This really helps because it's very easy to miss which zombie has actually attacked a survivor. So last but not least, we have the admin wristband and the visitor wristband. Both of these actually increase the detection range and angle at which zombies can find survivors. Now with the brown add-on, it pluses 2 meters of the range and adds 10 degrees to the angle, while the yellow add-on pluses 4 meters in range and adds 17.5 degrees to the angle at which survivors can be detected. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. I will rework this to make sure it's up to date with any new information that comes out, as well as get all the footage that's needed for some of the parts that were missed and we only spoke over.
To secure those skills.
I can't
Oh,
believe
they're unbreakable.
What does it smell like? Where then? Where? I need to... Oh, look at the L-pad, to be honest. Okay, they're not doing gens, which is good for us. Oh, never mind. Okay, I've lost the spirit, boys. Oh, no! No!